Come on, we got a question somewhere, right? There we go.
Coach Joe Reedy, Associated Press. You've come into other situations that have been losing programs and have had to rebuild them. Just how unique is this situation with a program where a lot of the foundation is already in place?
Oh, it's like you said, it's different for me because this is not a rebuild. This is more of a realignment. If anything, we got to realign some things and to get it going again. But it's exciting knowing that you have some really good football players in here, and I'm excited about the challenges that are in front of us and bringing a group of people together for the same common cause, which is to win championship. And I'm excited about doing that.
Willie Taggart, Orlando Sentinel. I was wondering if you had a chance to meet with the team yet. What were some of your early impressions, and did you give him any flack for those games over USF a couple years ago?
Actually, I didn't give him any flack about that, but I did meet with the team, and it was good. You know, I talked to the guys about some of the expectations. I talked to them how pleased I am to be their head football coach and having an opportunity to be a part of their team. You know, because at the end of the day, it's their football team. It's not my team. It's their team, and I'm excited to be a part of that and with them and to help them get it back to where we all know it should be.
Coach Jordan Culver with the Tallahassee Democrat. Before even fielding a team, you've already made history in terms of you are the first Black full-time head coach at Florida State University. Is that something that you've thought about? Is there pressure with that title? Has it sunk in yet?
Something I thought about. I did not necessarily as the full-time coach because Odell is the first African-American coach here. I thought about it, but not much. You know, I just figured pretty much for the most part, wherever I go, I'm probably going to be the first African-American coach, you know. So I really didn't think about it as much, you know, but I do understand my role, and I do understand a lot of people counting on me to do well, and I appreciate that, and I take pride in doing a good job, and hopefully can inspire more to do a great job and get the things that they want to get accomplished.
Coach Michael Hudak with the FSVU. You've obviously been a member of this community for a while. Now you're the head coach of this football team. What is it like to you to be the CEO of this football team right now and to be the leader of such a great community?
It's awesome. It's awesome. I'm living in hog heaven right now, okay? And right now it is great. We're still undefeated, you know, so I am enjoying it. I'm going to enjoy every single moment of it. But like I said, I take pride in my job, and I know the expectations here, and that's how it should be, and a big reason for taking the job. You want that, and so I'm really ready to get embedded into the community here in Tallahassee and throughout the state of Florida, and meet a lot of our boosters and alums, and just rally the troops and get them back around and get going and get Florida State back to where I grew up and seeing Florida State. It was a great time, you know, and it was family, you know, it was football. And I remember Coach Bowden speaking one time, and those things that he talked about was faith, family, and football. And as I became a head coach, I implemented a lot of those values within our football team, and it's helped everywhere we've been, and you need it. You know, you need those things. And so excited to be the man, and want to continue the winning tradition. And I know the last two coaches we've had here won a lot of ball games, so I expect to go out and looking forward to trying to win a lot of ball games like they did.
Hey, Willie, Matt Baker with the Tampa Bay Times.
Matt, I know you. Yeah, I know you too, Joey.
You know that guy
Yes.
better. You touched on the early signing period. Obviously, you've had transitions in the past. How much more difficult and complicated is it to be in this role now with this early signing period here 2 weeks away?
It's tough, you know, because, again, you got to start back over to building relationships, and then the young men want to know who's going to coach the football team. So a short amount of time, which is going to cause for a lot of mileage, whether driving or beauty of being here at FSU, you can drive a lot. You don't have to get on planes. So I'm going to try to get out and see all of our guys that's committed to us and share my vision and philosophy here, and hopefully it's something that they want to be a part of as well. But I will say this, most kids want to be at FSU, not necessarily because of the coach, but because they want to be here at our great university. Now, being a good person and a good coach will help getting those young men, but I think a lot of them really wanted to be here, grew up wanting to be here as well. So it's difficult because of the relationships you have to build, which is so important in recruiting, and you have such a short time building those relationships. So it's a challenge, but I look forward to it. You know, I look forward to all challenges, but really looking forward to this one.
Andrea Adelson, ESPN.com. Willie, if you could talk a little bit more about struggling with this decision, wrestling with the commitment you made to Oregon and only staying there for a year before deciding to come here.
It was tough because what you just said, only been there for a year. Things were going really well there. I mean, in every aspect, it's going well. The people you met and the relationship you built, it's always tough when you have to end that, you know. I mean, just think about it, being able to meet Phil Knight. I mean, he's an icon. And I was in awe when I had a chance to meet him. You know, it was like, wow. And he's a great person and have a great mind and really smart, but he really loved the University of Oregon. Rob Mullins, who I thought was an awesome AD and was great to work for. And for him to give me an opportunity, my first opportunity to coach in the Power Five, you feel bad or you feel like you let him down. And I know I did. But and like I told him, I'm sorry that I did let him down. Like I told everyone there, I'm sorry, I apologize. The timing is probably not right, but it's never right when it's time to leave. And but again, like I said, talking with my son made me realize a lot, and I can let. I guess my biggest problem, I'm always worried about other folks and making other folks happy. And this one time where I get a chance to fulfill my dreams, I couldn't just rely on that. And again, it's just a perfect situation. I wasn't going to leave it just for anything, you know, because it was perfect and my family loved it there and had everything going the right way. But to be closer to your family and still have an opportunity to coach in the Power Five and still have an opportunity to win a national championship, which is a personal goal, it was tough to overcome. And again, don't always work the way that you want it to, but it is what it is. And again, I know they'll find a great coach there, and they have great players there, and they'll do a great job there.
Corey Clark, Tallahassee Democrat. Willie, you coached against Florida State. You recruited against Florida State. How hard was that to recruit against Florida State, and how much are you looking forward to recruiting for Florida State now?
It was hard because we knew we probably weren't going to get them. You know, so but we had some practice recruiting them. And then it was tough because you're playing against some really good football players when you played against them. And I think in South Florida, we were playing against those guys, and we had some really good football players in South Florida. They were just young, so we were playing with some babies against some mutants out there, and that was tough. But as an opposing coach, you go out and you look and like, geez, how did they find guys that looked like that, you know? And but again, found a way to get on the right side of that train. So I'm excited.
Hey, Coach. Sanjay Kirpalani, Florida State Diehards, Cox Media Group. You had the experience of recruiting at USF, and now you're obviously here at Florida State. Are you going to be focusing more on the state of Florida in your recruiting? And can you talk about the importance of the state of Florida? Obviously, you have that background, but is that going to be a focus for you on the recruiting track?
Absolutely. You know, it's the best football in the country here in the state of Florida, and so you have to, and we're located here, so we need to put a fence around the state of Florida and try to keep our best football players here. And but we also a national brand, you know, and Florida State University don't have to settle for anything, and we can go after the best of them nationwide, you know. But we're going to take care of home, and we're going to go out and try to get the best football players that we can to come and play for us, because that's what our school deserves and that's what we expect.
Coach Ira Schofel with WarChant.com. How important was your relationships with Mr. Wilcox, Mr. Thrasher, when you got to meet them and got to know them in your decision? And then also, what kind of things did they tell you about the commitment to athletics, facilities, things like that for the future?
It was really important. Like I said, I had a good thing going at the University of Oregon, and the communication and the relationship and the vision from the president on down was right in order. You know, everything was like it's supposed to be, and that's one thing I was looking for when I met with them is making sure that everything was right in order and the vision was shared and everybody was following the plan to get there. You know, there's a plan here, and there's a vision and there's a plan, and we got to work our tails off to execute that plan and have the patience to see some things through. And I know there's a lot of plans going forward on what we can do and what we're going to do, and excited about them. But I think you got to prioritize things and make sure you're doing the things that you need to in order to get to where you're going. So I think everything is in order. Everybody's locked arm to arm, and we're going to get there.
Coach Wayne McGahee, Tallahassee Democrat. With the early signing period, how important is it to put together a staff quickly, and how do you go about doing that with Florida State still having coaches on board for the bowl game?
Well, like again, I think coaches make a big impact with recruits, but I think the university usually sells itself, and recruits do want to know who they're going to play for. We're in a unique situation. We still have coaches here. I'm get a chance to evaluate those guys and see if any of those guys are going to be a great fit to be a part of the staff and as we go forward. And so that's part of it. And I think I had to ask the recruits is to trust me. I'm going to get a really good coach in here to coach them up. But more importantly, which is really important to me, is that not only do I get a good coach, a good teacher, it's really important that we get good mentors in here to help our young men out. That is really, really important to me, and it's going to be hard for you to be on my staff if you're not a great mentor to our players.
Gene Williams, warchant.com. First, Coach, welcome to Tallahassee.
Thank you.
And can you walk us through a little bit from the beginning, your initial contact when somebody reached out to you about the Florida State position being open and kind of what that process was like the last few days?
I think it was last Thursday that I got a call and said that FSU was interested in you. I saw the social media and everything, and they had it way before anything was done, but they wanted to know if I was interested in them. That was on Thursday. And then I heard from Stan on Sunday night, and wanted to catch up with me and meet with me. And but leading up to that, what it was like, it was horrible, to be honest with you, because nothing had happened, and I had to sit in front of the media and address questions and answer things I couldn't necessarily answer, at least the way that they wanted me to, because there was nothing there to be. There was nothing there, so we went through practice. I had to deal with it with our players was out recruiting, had to deal with it there, and the best way you do it is you should be open and honest, you know. And I was always open and honest with our players, and which was the most important thing to me, is open and honest with Rob and letting him know, and just went about my work. I was working there at the University of Oregon, was recruiting, and was practicing, getting ready for a bowl game, and we had our banquet on this past Sunday, and driving home, got that call, and like, wow, here we go. So then met with Stan and President Thrasher and Ed, I think it was Monday, and it kind of went from there, you know, and had some decisions to be made, and it was tough. It was tough, but we're here now, so that's kind of how it went.
Willie, how did your family become Florida State fans? And did you have a favorite player or one of those Florida State teams growing up that you really liked more than others?
I think, again, when you live in the state of Florida, when you're born and raised here, it's hard not to be a Noles fan, and it's hard not to grow up wanting to be a Nole. And again, that's what it was like there in Palmetto. and Bradenton. We wanted to be Noles, and I think everybody, we watched the Noles when football was on. We was watching them, and then we'll watch everybody else. But we had to watch the Noles first. The Noles and the Bucks. It was the Noles and the Bucks, and that's what it was like. Some of my favorite players, of course, prime time. Of course, prime time. You think about Charlie Ward. He played quarterback. I played quarterback. I wanted to do. He was doing the spread before everybody else was doing the spread. He was the guy everybody wanted to be. Think about Derrick Brooks. When Derrick was playing, and you think about Warwick Dunn, all those guys. Just Peter Warwick is a good friend of mine, and we played against each other, but we grew up in the same neighborhood, and was seeing those guys come here and play great football. Anquan Bolden, just watching all those guys play was big. Even Danny Cannell, back here playing. Chris Winkie, those guys. It was great seeing all those guys play, and there's plenty more I can name. And it was just great watching all the football players and seeing them do great things here, and really great watching Coach Bowden all those years, and all the winning he did here was pretty impressive.
Willie, I think a lot of Florida State fans are excited about the type of offense that you run. How would you describe what they will see this season?
You talking about the Gulf Coast offense,
I am.
huh? Joy, you know about the Gulf Coast offense. How would I describe it? Lethal simplicity. Lethal simplicity. We want to score fast and often, but be really simple when it comes to teaching our players and not confusing them on what they need to do, but allow our guys to go out and just play football and play fast and score a touchdown. We all like touchdowns, and I really like explosive plays. You see a lot of explosive plays, and we like those. I'm not one of those guys, unless it's the 4-minute situation, that we like those long drives. Okay, I like to score fast. So as long as we can score fast and often, it's a good thing, and we take pride in doing that.
Coach, Allison Posey, WTXL ABC 27 here in Tallahassee. You talk about this job being a dream. Just wanted to know if you had a chance to kind of walk around the facilities, take it all in, and when you walk out on the field now, I mean, this is your domain. I mean, just how does it feel? It's
great. I walk through the facility, and it's going to take me a while to get around there and figure out where I'm supposed to go. Someone's got to show me. I'm about to call someone when I come in the morning to meet me. But it was nice walking around, but it was really, really nice walking out on the field this morning and walking to the 50-yard line and just like, yes, you made it. You made it, and then you see your picture up on the big jumbotron, and my name was spelled right. Like, yes, it's just right. So it was surreal. It was great, and I'm excited and I'm fired up right now, and I really don't think it's going to hit me until a little later on, and especially when I get around the players a little more, and as I start to build relationships, So, but it's going to be fun.
Coach, I'm sure there's been some sleepless nights during all this. How was last night? Were you at peace with this decision? Were you excited? What were your emotions last night?
I was. I was. After I told our football team, which was the hardest thing, those young men back there did everything I asked them to do, and they believed in everything I said to them. So it's really hard to tell them what I was going to do. One of the hardest things. It was hard to tell Rob and tell Phil, because those guys believed in me too, and they gave me an opportunity. So that was really tough. But once we got all of that behind us, and I got home and talked with the family and kissed everybody and got on the plane, it was no looking back. You got a job to do now, and you're there, and let's go. And Papa sat on the plane for about 20 minutes, just soaking it all in, and I said, I guess I'll look at the back of my eyelids for the rest of this trip. So went to sleep and woke up, we were here. And couldn't sleep. Looking forward to this, so that's where I'm at. had my coffee, so I'm good to go.
Coach, you mentioned your family relying on your son to make this big decision. Who else did you speak to, maybe outside of your family, to help you make this decision? And specifically, did you talk to a Dion or did you talk to a Peter Walker, any of those guys?
I talked to Dion. I talked to Dion briefly. I talked to Derek Brooks, who I knew, especially being back in South Florida. I talked with Corey Fuller, who I knew from recruiting, and I had a chance to know him. But the people I really talked to that I cherish and a big reason for my success is the Harbaughs, Jim and Jack and John, and they're my rock. When I need something that I'm struggling with, I can give them a call, and again, they don't tell me what to do. They just listen, and whenever I'm off the phone with them, I feel like I can accomplish anything that's out there. Talk with them a lot. As my mentor, talk with Dick Tomey, another guy that I'm close to and another mentor for me. But and that was pretty much it, And again, whenever there's something tough, I'm always calling the wise man, Jack Harbaugh, or Jim. Jim just keep it really simple and direct and get to work. So, but it was. They make you feel at ease, and I felt at ease after making the decision.
Well, obviously you had your own team to look after last year, but just how much of Florida State were you able to look at, and have you taken a look at the team the past couple days?
No, I really haven't, because I was focusing on our football team at the University of Oregon. I think one game I saw like the first half of the Boston College game, but that was the only game that I saw. And then, but I haven't had a chance to watch the football team yet. But planning on doing that while I'm on the road recruiting. I get to watch a lot of that. I get to watch some practices, see it live, and our guys. But it can't be about what we've done in the past. It's got to be about where we're going now, and making sure that we understand the expectation and we're doing everything every single day to live up to those expectations, whether it's in the classroom and in practice and meetings, in the community. But we got to get back to winning and winning at a high level, and everybody got to understand that, and we got to do it the right way.
Willie, Brendan Sano with Knowles 24/7. You mentioned your offensive philosophy. What about defense? I guess what schematically, philosophically are you planning to bring here?
Defensively, same thing. Lethal simplicity. Again, not a complicated guy. Want to keep it simple, but want to be aggressive on the defense side of the ball. Have I decided do we want to run a 4-3 or 3-4? No, I haven't decided that. I want to, excuse my language, but I want a damn good defense. I want our defense to be back to where Florida State defense has been in the past. Excuse my language, but we was a bunch of badasses back in the days. We were some war daddies. People fear. You think about Derek Brooks, Peter Boulware, those type of guys, man. We want to get back to those days, and you got to get guys that feel the same way. You got to recruit guys that want to be that way. We want to be physical. We want to be fast. We want to be in attack mode at all times and making plays. But it's got to be that way, and you got to have that personality as a defensive coach that coaches that way, and but we want to do it all in the right way. So that's what I'm looking for in our defense, and making sure we have a D coordinator that understands that and passionate about doing that, and gonna make sure you hold everyone accountable on that side of the ball to being that way.
Coach, Tim Linnefelt, Seminoles.com. I'm curious just what you've learned and taken with you from each of your previous stops at Western Kentucky and South Florida and Oregon, and maybe how you've changed and evolved over the years because of them.
I think the biggest thing is and the similarity is all these kids want to be loved. All these kids want discipline. All these kids want structure. And when you touch the minds and the hearts of these young men, they'll do anything for you. When they truly believe that you care about them and want what's best for them, they'll do everything for you. But not just our player, but the coaches and the managers, the trainers, the janitors, anybody you touch, you treat them the same way, and you get to know them. And when you get it that way, it's just tough not to be successful. So learning that every single place I've been and developing that and understanding it's just not the football team. We have one big family here in this athletic department, that one big team that we all got to be a part of with high expectations.
Coach, you already have mentioned your offensive and defensive philosophies. Do you feel as though Florida State already has the players in place to do what you want to do, or are you going to have to go out and get some more?
We do. We have players here. I know we have players here, and I've seen it, again, from afar. You got to recruit. Don't get me wrong. You got to recruit, and that's every single year. Our guys got to understand my job is to go recruit guys to come take the current players' jobs. I mean, that's my responsibility, and it's on our current players to keep their jobs. So if we're not recruiting better than what we have, then we're not doing a good job with it. So it's going to be great to be able to, again, evaluate these guys and seeing what we need to do. I know defensively we really have some guys over there that can get it done no matter what system you have, and the same thing offensively. And the beauty of it, you look at your personnel and you cater your offense or defense to your personnel and make it go. And I think that's the beauty of the offense. I don't care what you are, especially at quarterback. If you're a pro style or you're a dual threat, our offense can work with either guy. And I do know we want some fast guys. We want some guys that can stretch the field and guys that can make guys miss in space. So I know we have some of those guys on the football team. I know we have a pretty darn good running back, a couple of them around here too. So that's pretty good. Thank you all very much, and have a great day if you want to.